So he didn't play against the Pelicans because of a tailbone injury. So that basically means he's just been asked out. But yeah, I mean it's been a really weird season for him too, as he's just been trying to get his shit together. Um, Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be back, I believe, until the end of next week. Supposedly, I think he broke his bone in his ass. Obviously, that's what the tailbone is, but I guess he broke his bone. So that's just got to be something. But Jared Vanderbilt has not really also been doing his thing, as he has been the replacement for D'Lo. As a lot of people were saying, he's actually been playing worse compared to Christian Wood. So there's a lot of controversy there. And that's kind of where we head into the whole, you know, Austin Reeves kind of mix thing. Now, with Austin Reeves, it kind of gets a little tricky because, I mean, if you at all follow who Austin Reeves is, he's got that major contract extension that he got, you know, in the off season, which was like crazy to hear. But everyone was really pumped for it because, you know, everyone's like, he's our local white boy. He's exactly what we needed for the Lakers. Someone who can drive in. He's not the greatest 3-point. He's not the greatest at field goal, but his hustle is just something you can rarely find within the league. And he's just been doing his thing. And, you know, watching every single game, everybody just can't wait for Austin Reeves and what he can do. He can play off the dribble, you know, be ready in the perimeter, take a shot. He's just everything you want in the player. He's just really well-rounded. And he got put back into the starting lineup this game against the Heat, which I'll probably Google while I'm actually recording right now because it's live right now as I'm speaking. So let me see where we're at because he got put into the starting lineup. I think the game might be over. And unfortunately it is, and we lost. So that sucks. 110-96. That drops us to 17-18 now. We were 17-17, staying at 500, so we ended up dropping now. But going back, I mean, there hasn't also been a really crazy split with Austin Reeves at all. And look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, it's really been leading to Darvin Ham, especially if you read up on NBA articles, Bleacher Report articles. A lot of them are just like, dude, Darvin Ham, does he know what he's doing? Because he's not really getting the full effectiveness of the team. He's not really like pushing himself out there. All of his moves aren't like, oh shit, like, you know, this is exactly what we needed, or it was a great move by Darvin Ham. It's kind of like, okay, he's making this move. Let's see if it works. ? There's no like actual affirmative, like a good answer, good response that he's done to this roster, to this team at all. It's just been, let's just see if this works. And it just feels like he doesn't really understand or know what his players need, let alone what his team needs overall. But Austin Reeves' role, I mean, he's just been kind of weird. He's like been an awkward six man. He comes off, I mean, there's not a crazy split there. Like I was saying, I mean, he barely averages more in points coming off the bench. Assists and rebounds, it's all less than, you know, 1. So when you look at stats, I mean, you'll see like they'll be assisting, averaging 5.2, and Austin Reeves will be, you know, and then coming off the bench will be averaging 5.7. It's barely a difference where you can see where you might get that extra game or he might get an extra assist or two. So it's not anything crazy. Yeah, his free throw and field goal percentage have gone up, but it's not that crazy split to me either. It's only up by like 5% each. And I'm being generous. I'm not saying like I haven't looked into it. I'm genuinely rounding because of how, like, all right, let's just be generous to Darvin Ham as to what he's been doing, and it's barely getting him anywhere. There's not a crazy split. I mean, there's no win different loss. No, nothing. It's 500. It's just average basketball numbers here. Like, we're not going over the crazy thing, but he returned today to the starting lineup. And we'll just see what else he could do, and hopefully he keeps him there. Honestly, I love him as a starter. You know, and with Cam Reddish, Torian Prince has been on some shit too. I gotta give a shout out to him because of what he's been able to do. LeBron and AD are just there as well. Like, you can't argue that's what the starting lineup has been. But LeBron even said himself, like, you know, he enjoys playing with Austin. He thinks wherever he's at, he's gonna be playing. Where, like, if he comes off the bench, if he's a starter, that he just loves being around the energy that Austin brings. And if you're getting that from LeBron, which, I mean, yeah, sure, LeBron said that about a handful of players, but, you know, LeBron rarely gives out so much praise to all these players out there. So I mean, it has to mean something. Um, so yeah, in other avenues, we have to talk about something really, really big, which is if LeBron will be getting an All-Star appearance this year. LeBron's been kind of going on a tear. I'm not gonna lie, and like just like the Pro Bowl and just like any other All Star game within any other sport, typically it's really just a popularity contest because a lot of people, it's just voting, especially MLB. Everyone says it's just a popularity contest. Even the Golden Glove for like MLB has been considered to be kind of falling off as to what it means historically. But it's a popularity contest. At the end of the day, fans vote. LeBron is going to be there because there's millions of kids that vote for him, millions of people who just say he's at the age of what he's doing. He looks like the same LeBron like we've always seen. I mean, he's averaging, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. And to even put that into other perspective, Giannis's numbers are quite honest, almost the same besides the rebounds. But can you really give that to him when Giannis is like 5 inches taller than LeBron? But Giannis with 26 points, only averaging more than almost 4 rebounds a game, and just 1 more assist. I mean, I'm gonna say it there. When you look at it, just at the age difference and the level he's at, the height, the position, you got to give LeBron credit where it's due, which is what he's doing, especially with the amount of starts he's made. Supposedly that the load has gone down with him only playing 30 minutes compared to AD's 32. It's not even that big of a difference. And Darvin Ham saying that he wants to, lower the load for LeBron, but LeBron's saying he's all right. I mean, we're talking about he's been doing his shit. So even though I know it's a popularity contest, I'm going to give credit where credit needs to be due, and LeBron should be an all-star, and that's like not even in question. The cool thing is also, if he does get an all-star this year, he's gonna be at 20. Yes, at 20 all-star appearances, which ties Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most all-time. And if it does, it's gonna be really fucking hilarious, because if you watched that game last year, where he, oh my God, it's so weird to say that now. Last year, where LeBron tied or surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points ever. I don't know if you were there watching the game, or if you haven't, please go look at I'm pretty sure you'll find it on YouTube. You'll be on NBA's page forever. But it's crazy if you really take a deep look at it. Like, Kareem did not look at, I mean, I guess why would you be happy when someone surpasses you? But he looked pissed off. I mean, it was probably one of the funniest things when I was at the gym. I was working out and I was like, oh shit, today's the game. I mean, there was mainly guys just looking at the TV, and he surpasses him, and you can see Kareem just slowly clapping like, yay. He didn't even look like he wanted to take a photo with him. And I was like, dude, yeah. If you remember what happened with Pele, and the whole Messi controversy after Messi had like the most goals all time, and then Pele says that they're not counting my other 300 goals or something. It was the most bullshit of bullshit, and it was just giving off that hard energy, like you're not happy at all for what he's been able to do, especially in the difficulty of now in today's game, which is way harder compared to Kareem's age, and that's hard take, but you're talking about just overall athleticism and what everyone's able to do. So it's crazy. I mean, the hook shot doesn't exist anymore, really. It's really rare to even see that throughout the game. Most people just go with the fadeaways for the more control, but you got to give LeBron credit, and I'm going to keep on saying that over and over again, because who wouldn't give him credit for that? He's up there with some of the best players in the entire league. Don't let me remind you that Giannis is up there with, fighting with the Bucks to be first in the Eastern Conference. So you got to give him some shit. But I got to say the Lakers' struggles, I'm just blaming it on Darvin Ham. And I don't know if people are going to say if that's just like a scapegoat, and me just saying like it's Darvin Ham's fucking fault, because why wouldn't it be the coach's fault? But he's just making a roster change. I feel like every single time I see my phone notification come up with an NBA thing, and it's the Lakers, because I'm specifically requesting that the Lakers news headlines come up. It's a roster change. Who's starting today? This person's moving in this today. And if you look at NBA, like NBA.com or even just ESPN, and look at the entire roster and look at games played and games started, you'll see there's a really big fluctuation as to who started, who hasn't. And I mean, it's kind of crazy to really take a look at, like, Cam Reddish, Vanderbilt, Hachimura. All the numbers are all different. Like 20 games here, 10 games here, and it's not even dealing with injuries. It's really just him trying out different things because he wants to see what works best, and I get it. But the fact that we're already 17, 18, 35 games in, we're only like maybe towards the end of January, are going to be more than halfway through the season done already. We still don't know exactly where our starting lineup is. And if we're already struggling to stay in 10th place, you got to imagine we got to move in now to really solidify a starting lineup so everybody feels comfortable, Another news that I also wanted to add on before we move on to the Clippers, we have news that Gabe Vincent has elected to take in that knee surgery kind of thing. I guess it was optional. It was really weird, that little filter of like, it was optional, it wasn't optional, it was up to Gabe if he wanted to do it. He played one game. He said there was a lot of swelling still, and then right after decided to take the surgery. So supposedly he's going to be out up to 8 weeks. Other sources are saying that he will be out up until the end of the season. So that kind of sucks, especially because we already, we signed him from the Heat. A lot of money given to Gabe Vincent, and he's not doing shit for us this year. Let alone for his like 2-3 starts for us this year. He didn't do shit either. But we can't judge him off of that because it was 2 games. So yeah, wish him the best luck and wish him, whatever else however he's gonna recover from that, and hopefully it's a speedy recovery so we can shove him into the lineup and see what he can do. But yeah, now moving on to other avenues, the Clippers just been on some shit because they've been on the opposite train. I mean, you're talking about who's starting. Like, you can, and if you know basketball, you already know it's Kawhi, PG-13, Zubac, Terrence Mann, and James Harden that are going to be on that fucking starting lineup because Russell Westbrook says, I'm going to be on the bench and I'm going to come off like that freaking ultimate super sub out of nowhere on NBA 2K to be like, shit, he has Westbrook on his team too? Yeah, he does. The Clippers have been 11-2 in December. 20-12 overall so far in this season, and 4th in the West. That's with the Denver Nuggets, OKC, and they've just been on some shit. I mean, I always say that, but it's crazy what they've done, especially in December, being 11-2. And you look on Twitter, you look on Instagram, anytime you see crazy highlights, is James Harden making a crazy step back 3. They've only lost against OKC and Boston. By the way, Boston is number 1 right now with 28-7. So cut them some slack for losing by 20 points to Boston. Boston is the number 1 rated team right now in the NBA. And they lost against OKC, which, again, are in 2nd place right now in the West. So you got to cut them some slack because they lost against 2 of the better teams. And I did watch the Boston game, it was really close. It was really tight. And it was a really fun game to watch. Overall, just amazing performance from everybody. They were just playing as a team, but they just couldn't execute. And that's fine. Because if you're 11-2, I will say that's fine. If you're 2-11, I will say that's not fine. But they're doing everything they possibly fucking can. I mean, you've seen these highlights of Russell Westbrook just coming off being hype as fuck off the bench. He comes off the bench, he brings in with his own team. I mean, you're talking about just setting a whole roster and a whole change and having Russ as your one for your bench. For that time where all the starters are getting their rest in. I mean, he's going to go off and he's going to do his normal thing, and he has been putting up hella fucking points. I think he's still averaging over 15 points, which is insane to even hear about. Harden, if you saw that one highlight, gets that step back 3, gets fouled, does the snow angels on the court. There's so much energy going on in that Clippers arena. So many celebrities apparently showing out for them. I mean, it's crazy what they've been able to do. And, God knows what happened to Harden to, like, all of a sudden get in this really clutch moment. But everyone's saying he's back. The beard guy is back. You got to be afraid. Fear the beard. It's all there. And, I'm really glad, to be honest, because it was really weird at the beginning of the season where it wasn't clicking. Nothing was working. Russell wasn't good in the beginning. There was too much isolation. They're still very isolation heavy to this day, which basically means, oh, okay, well, Kawhi has the ball. Let's see what he can do in that, man-to-man defense right now. And if he gets double teamed, then we could pass it out or whatever the case is. But still executing. I mean, since Harden's came in and really he started off a little slow but picked it up in December. That's why I'm really highlighting this month. And there hasn't been much rotation with the injuries. Having Harden Kawhi and PG-13 play every single day without injuries. Zubac too. Kawhi Leonard. Like it's crazy what they've been able to do as a team. Especially when like I said earlier with the Lakers, and if you compare it to just a starting sheets for the Clippers, and if it's just Terrence Mann maybe getting a little rest day, and if it's just a rest day, it's not even just an injury, just a rest, and the next day they come right back in. You look at the differences, you're like, holy shit, it really has just been the same starting lineup, and that has to feel good as a team. You know your role, you know what the game plan is for tomorrow, unless specifically said so that you're gonna have the day off tomorrow to get your body well rested and recovered, because we're going to have a 2-day break, and I want you to be ready when we come back on that fourth. Like it's just open communication. They like what's been happening is insane. That like I mean I use the same descriptive words and it pisses me off, but that's the only thing I could really describe it with. It's been great for the Clippers. And it's good because of how they turned around the beginning of the season. Not my first episode, but the first other time that I talked about the Clippers, it wasn't this amazing story. It was like, where the fuck are they going to go? They spent so much money, and all of a sudden they're, not doing shit. And the Intuit Dome is looking nicer and nicer every single time I pass by it. So it's just been amazing. I mean, they're averaging, like Harden's averaging 20 points, almost 10 assists a game with 6 rebounds. You're almost averaging a triple double there, so it's just insane. I'm looking at my sheet right now, and there's just so much. And even though they're not a team, and especially when you look into splits and stats, they're not a team that's gonna jump off the leaderboards like crazy. But one thing they are high in their top 3 is field goal percentage made. Their attempts are like mid top 10. But still, I mean, having a really high field goal percentage, being up there with the Denver Nuggets, OKC, the Bucks, and the Boston Celtics. I mean, there's a reason why they're all the top 5 teams, and you're up there with them, Clippers. That's strictly due because every single time you put up a shot, it goes in. And as long as you're executing, you're putting in those shots, you're going to be able to win these games. There's not much else that you can really argue about that. And I honestly think that if they continue on the run, let's see what they do now in January, because January is really going to be that random test before we go into the early week of February where no one gives a fuck because all that matters is the All-Star break. We'll see what they can do. If they could really show out again, they just went 11-2 in December. Let's say, I don't know how many games they have right now in January, but if, let's say it's 15, and let's say they even go 10-5, I would even take just 10 wins going crazy. I doubt it's 15 games. Let's just say it's 12. Out of 12 games, give me 8-4. I'll buy it. 7-5, I might just say that's a little too close. But 8-4, 9-3, we'll take that any kind of day, and especially for the Clippers. I mean, they really want to build the base down here. They really need to start winning. They really need to start proving something, because the last 2 years with PG and Kawhi kind of been out. It's just kind of been like shit. But they're just it's like amazing. It's honestly also like a big Compton, like Lakewood thing. Russell Westbrook went to Lusinger, here in Hawthorne, California. Both PG-13 and Kawhi went to Compton High. I don't think they went to Centennial. I think they just went to Compton. And James Harden out of Lakewood High School in Artesia, like local ass guys. These 4 All-Stars for sure, all Hall of Famers by the end of their careers. But it's a so-called thing, and that's pretty badass to say. They all played against each other at some point in their careers, especially in their high school careers. I know PG actually was out of like Palmdale or something, competed against Like it's crazy, but they are SoCal kids, and they are here to play, and it's really good to see them represent the city. And I'm not a Clippers fan, but holy shit, like right now it's really fun to watch it. So if you ever see a Clippers game, just go ahead and take a peek in, because you're going to be watching 4 different All-Stars come in, especially with Zubac. And give credit to Zubac on what he's been able to do just with the rebounds. He's there. Just be physical. Get the rebounds, pass it out. You're not going to be the top scorer, but you're going to be up there. So, but yeah, man, I think it's just really exciting to what's been happening with the NBA. I mean, we have so much happening. We have hopefully like OKC's like out of nowhere, like this super team you want to beat. Denver's not themselves still, but it's still going to be a lot. But thank you so much. We're gonna kind of end it there because we have a lot to start studying for, because I actually have a basketball game I'm calling tomorrow. So I really appreciate every single one of you for tuning in and listening for another episode of Prairie Avenue. I wish you nothing but the best, and I will hopefully see you sometime this week or next week for a Rams update and Chargers update, or a hockey update. We'll see what we end up diving into, because hockey's kind of been at its slow pace, and everything's been going. So, but thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Thank you.